Hello, this is Edgar Arceo from the Arceo Financial Group. This time I want to talk about college savings. I have received many emails and a lot of phone calls asking me if they can use a 770 account for college savings. They, a lot of them have a 529 plan, or they have a OTMAS account or OCMAS account. That is just a minor savings for their children, and they want to know if we can use a 770 account, and the answer is yes, absolutely. Now, I already create a blog explaining a lot of things and comparing the 529 plan against a 770 account. There are many questions that we need to ask before putting that plan together, even a 770 or a 529 plan. Now, I'm not going to go over all these questions because I already talked about that on my blog, and I'm going to put a comment in this video with the address where you can go and you can read everything about it. The only thing I'm going to tell you is that with a 770 account, all these questions, the answer will be yes. For a 529 plan, maybe number 5 will be a yes, and that's just a maybe, hopefully. But anyway, I'm gonna just jump into some numbers here. I want to concentrate on the plan, how this will look, so you will see. Of course, always numbers don't lie, and if you're like me, I understand everything if I can see the actual numbers. So that's what I want to show you, okay? Now, there are a couple of things that we need to have in mind. I'm going to do this plan for somebody that is 5 years old. He's going to go to college at 18, and he's going to maybe spend 4 years in college, okay? Now, we're going to do a contribution to this plan of $10,000 per year for just 10 years. After that, there's no more premiums needed. You can do more or you can do less, but this is just for illustration purposes. Also, I am going to be using the current dividend scale of the life insurance company, and that's very important, very, very important to know. I have met a lot of companies, financial advisors, that what they do is that they use maybe an average dividend scale or an average rate of return, and based on the average, they will put the numbers together. And if you have seen some of my videos, I already talked that average, even though that is technically correct, can be very deceiving. So I'm not going to use any average rate of return. I'm going to use the current dividend scale, and that's something I want to show you. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. If you can see, 2014 is 6%. That's the dividend scale, the current dividend scale. I am not using an average scale or dividend scale. The average will be maybe 8.5 or so. I'm not doing that. I'm just using the current dividend scale, and as you can see, it has been the lowest in a very long time. And many people ask me, why so low? Well, these companies, they don't mess around with the stock market, okay? They invest the money on very secure instruments like mortgages, like bonds, things like that, okay? So that's why it's so low. Right now you can get a mortgage for maybe 4% or so for 30 years. Bonds, treasury bonds are very low. Prime rate is super low right now. So that's why it has a 6% dividend scale today. Now, if interest rates are going up, the dividend scale will go up. So the numbers that I'm going to be showing you are going to look much better. But for this illustration, I'm just going to give you one of the worst case scenarios. That is, if interest rates continue being this low for the next 10, 20, 50 years. Okay. So that I'm going to put all the numbers together based on this number right here. Okay. Okay, now going back to this. Also, after graduation, I'm gonna say that this kid, after graduating, he's going to be able to find a job, and in a year or two, he's gonna be able to save, let's say, $5,000 per year for his retirement plan. Now that can be maybe a lot to start off, but after he turns 30 or so, he's going to be able to save a lot more than just $5,000. But I'm just going to say that he's going to save every year $5,000, not more, not less, until he's age 65. So what is going to be the results? And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Well, first of all, he's going to have $130,000 that he can use towards college. Okay, first thing. That's exactly why we started in the first place, right? For college education. Now, also by doing all this that I'm telling you about, he's going to have $100,000 passive income per year at retirement. So he's going to have a very nice chunk of money whenever he retires, and that's going to be tax-free. So it's not reportable to the IRS, and I'm going to explain that in a second as well. So the total income received if he lives until age 90 is going to be about $2 million tax-free. And he's going to have, at that point, if he dies at age 90, he will still have a death benefit of $1.6 million that he's going to give to his beneficiaries. So the total benefit will be about $3.6 million tax-free. Tax-free. That's the very important thing here. Okay, so let's see how this will look. Okay, I'm gonna do this like I was telling you, $10,000 per year. That's the annual premium. After 10 years, there's no more premiums needed. Okay. Now there are many ways to structure a policy. Many ways. Sometimes for people that wants to see a big cash value in the first 5-10 years, I can do it a little different than this. As you can see right now, the cash value in the first year is very low. It's just 661. It's extremely low. Okay, now like I was saying, there's many ways we can structure a policy, a life insurance policy. There are ways where I can structure in a way that you can get a lot more than this in the first year, and it's going to be very good for the first 5-10 years. But this policy, the way I structure it, is that I want this to be good in the long run. I don't care about the short run, like in the short term. I don't care if he doesn't have a lot of money in the first year, because we're doing this for his college education, right? So that's why I structure it like this. Now, if you want to do this for yourself, not for your kids, then it will be a different story. I will structure it differently depending on your needs, depending on what are your plans, what you're trying to achieve, many things like that. So, but this is just for somebody that is 5 years old. We don't need the cash right now, and that's why I structure it like this. Now, in 10 years, we're going to have $113,000. It's not the best, and if you have received some of my emails, I always tell you this is not good for less than 10 years. If you're doing this for less than 10 years, this is not the right account for you. In 10 years, it was very low rate of return. And then at age 18, he can start withdrawing $32,500 for the 4 years for his college education. At the end of 4 years, he has about $10,000 left in this account. So it's not that bad. It's not the best, but it's not bad. The rate of return that he's going to get on all these years, on the first 15 years or so, is going to be maybe like 3.5%. Or so, but that's tax-free, but it's not the best. But the great thing happens after this. After this, like I was saying, you have $10,000. As you can see, even though that we may not contribute anything to it, it keeps growing at a very nice rate of return that is about 5.3 or so percent. And the great thing about these policies, and if you have read the book, Nelson Nash's book, Becoming Your Own Banker, he will explain this better, but these policies keep getting better every year. Okay, so even though that it didn't give us the best rate of return in the first 10-15 years, that is about 3.5, which is not bad. Once again, it just keeps getting better every time. So for example, if we do the math and see what will be the rate of return after he graduates and after he starts putting $5,000 into it. Now, one more thing that I want to say, you don't have to put $5,000. You don't have to. This is just if he wants to save some money, if he gets maybe a tax return of $5,000 and he doesn't know what to do with it, and maybe he wants to save it for a while and then buy a furniture or whatever, he can just put it here. You already created a system for your children to to park your money, and that will give you a very nice rate of return. Okay, so for example, at that time, like I was saying, you have 11,754. 11,754. Contributions of 5,000 every year. Let's see, in 10 years, what would be the rate of return? I'll say that is maybe 7.5%, 94,000. In 10 years, he's 22, so when he's 32, he has 107. So it is about 9.5% rate of return, which is amazing. It's really amazing. And so he's gonna be doing that for the rest of his life. Like I was saying, maybe in the first years he just have $1,000, $2,000 to put in. That's fine. He can just save whatever he can, and after that he can probably start saving 5,000, 10, or maybe even $20,000. And this policy will allow you to do that. The best thing is that the first years is when we suffer a little bit because we have to capitalize the system. But once it's capitalized, that's it. You know, he's going to have this system for the rest of his life. And as you can see, you're going to have a death benefit that will grow every year. Now, when he turns 65, $5,000 is going to be his last year that he's going to save money. And at that time, he's going to have $1.3 million on his cash value. $1.3 thousand. Let's say that he started taking some passive income when he turns 70, 71. He can start taking $100,000 tax-free for the rest of his life. And like I was saying, let's say that he dies at age 90. At age 90, he has pulled already $2 million, and he still have a death benefit of $1.6 million that he's going to give to his beneficiaries. The total benefit is $3.6 million tax-free. And as you can see, this is based on the current dividend scale. Like I was telling you, is one of the lowest we have seen in a very, very long time. So the results will probably be much better than what I am illustrating right here. Okay, now a lot of people are asking me, how can this be tax-free? Is this legal? I mean, how can you just take this money and it's not reportable to the IRS? What's going on? And that's what I'm going to be talking about in the second part of this video. And also I'm going to be showing you some statistics and see how you can use this policy as your own little bank.